Missouri offense you'll be facing?
Good offense. You know, there are a lot of different ways to move the football, and you know, everybody who's really good, everybody looks at them and says, man, we ought to run that offense. The key to any good offense is just like it is in Missouri. They have really good players in the key spots. They've recruited to it well. They know how to run it. They know how to coach it. They know how to adjust it. Kids know how to operate it. Their offensive line's good. The receiver core is extremely talented. Quarterbacks are very mobile and can deliver the ball. The running backs are extremely good in that system, and it's just got a lot of balance to it. If you can pull out the sheets and look, they've played an SEC schedule, and they're right at the top in total offense, rushing and passing. So there'll be a really tough challenge for us to try to manage.
Are they comparable to anybody you've played so far?
Yeah, you see a little bit of Texas A&M in them, and you see a little bit of Georgia. Their quick game is a little bit like Georgia. Their empty sets and some of the things they do with their route concepts are a lot like Texas A&M, and then they like to let the quarterback run the ball on the draws and things like Texas A&M. A little bit of Ole Miss in it in the running game. So they're not exactly like anybody we play, but when you get through a 12-game stretch, there's obviously some things we've seen that they do.
Ellis, when you take a look at game tape of them, do you go automatically to South Carolina tape since that's a defense that obviously you coached and has the most similar scheme that they faced thus far?
Well, we definitely looked at it because there are a lot of similar fronts. You know, you see how they plan to block the fronts, and then coverages wise, you know, they're doing some things we put in several years ago. Coach Ward and I put in, but he's put some tweaks and things in that he's doing differently. So it's not 100% like that, but that was one of about 6 games that we really felt like would give us a pretty good picture. And you know, they didn't have Franklin that game, but really that doesn't make any difference. They do the same things with Matty Mock. They're both really good with their feet and their arm and their eyes too. They read things well. So it looked to me like the exact same offense with the same potential.
Now, let's talk about the challenge that group of big receivers gives you in the secondary.
Well, it's anytime you got a height advantage, you know, when the ball's in the air, that's common sense. Some of them run extremely well also, and they've got a lot of them. And what I mean by that is when they go to 5 receivers or they got 4 wide receivers out there, they're all dangerous. You say, well, who's the go-to guy? There's not one. They spread it around, and they got confidence in all of them. And it just makes it extremely difficult to defend the field and hold up in the box. A lot of people try to put 5 wide receivers or 4 wide receivers out there. There's a couple of them, you know, you can just sort of make sure somebody's near them, and they're going to throw it at somebody else. That's not the case with Missouri.
Look back at the last game, after the long pass, they were down there 2 times, and y'all managed to stop them. And is that kind of a microcosm of this season, what you've been able to do?
I guess, and I don't mean to take away from anything of the positive things, but the things that we do during the course of games to create problems, you know, that's got to stop. We're not going to win a championship. But I tip a hat to the players. You know, when they really had to get it done, we got it done. You know, the last 3 possessions started on our 25 and our 35 and their 30, and they get no points. And that's certainly a credit to our kids and their effort and their heart. But, you know, we're putting a lot of yards out there and a lot of time possession and a lot of things we could do to, you know, to build better defense.
How surprised were you that they went for it on that 4th and 3, I believe it was?
Well, not terribly surprised. I mean, it was not very long, and he's got great confidence in his offense. You know, I don't think you can second guess either decision. I think there were decisions made with confidence. I got confidence in my offense, they'll get a first down. I got confidence in my kicker, he can make this kick. I don't think it was anything of have to do this or we might lose the ball game. I think that was an attempt to win the ball game. So I just give our kids credit for stepping up and making a play.
Talk about what you not just obviously the huge play Saturday, but Chris Davis over the course of the season. I mean, I don't get you that much about it.
In the return game, I just think he's meant so much to our football team. And obviously that play the other night was just tremendous individual effort and what he was able to do with that, because it's nothing we've ever worked on before. So, and Chris has played well for us in the secondary. He's had some things he didn't do well, had some mistakes, but we've had, you know, really lost a lot of our depth along the way, and he's had to play a bunch of snaps. And he's really, I think, been an outstanding player for us.
Ellis, what's the most valuable thing that Ryan Smith gives you day to day?
Well, right now it's depth and production. I mean, you know, you lose your starting boundary safety and he moves back there, and we're getting a lot of production right now from that position. And and hadn't fallen off.
How's Avi doing after going down there on special teams for a little bit?
He's doing pretty good. He had a slight concussion. I think they're gonna cut him loose on Wednesday or Thursday and be ready to roll.
Ellis, when you see 4 of 13 on third down, I guess that's what you held Alabama to. What comes to mind? What are your thoughts?
I don't know. I'm certainly, I don't mean to diminish the importance of that in the red zone, what we did, but, you also look on it, we gave up almost 500 yards and 153 in 2 plays. So there are things, it was a gutsy performance, a gritty performance, but frankly, we got a lot of things we got to do better if we're going to really be a good defense. But I think our third down, I think we affected the quarterback. There's no question in my mind. But when you give up 153 yards on 2 plays, it doesn't look like he did. But I think we got some pressure there, and we made him move out of the pocket, and we made him throw off balance a few times, and I think it was a big factor.
What kind of threat does James Franklin present in the running game?
He's really good. He's a big 230-pound guy, and when he pulls it down, he's not easy to tackle. I think they've been very conservative with both of them in letting them run, because at one point Franklin got hurt, and they didn't want to get him hurt, and then all of a sudden he's hurt again. And then Mark did not have a backup, so they were kind of scared to let him run. Now they got both of them, and they're both healthy, and the championship's on the line. So, my feeling is that they're probably going to let them run when they need to run and not going to worry about it because they know they got another one.
They like to do that when they bring in one series with Mock. Does that change anything for you guys?
No, he's just as good. He may have a few routes he likes to throw better, but the route packages don't change and the run game doesn't change. He's very good.
Chris Davis and Mincy have matched up well on wide receivers most of the season. They're both very productive in breaking up passes. The guys have struggled against some of the big wide receivers, Cooper, Moncrief, Mike Evans. This team has 2 very good wide receivers and 2 pretty big wide receivers. Just what do you think about that matchup of those 2 guys?
It's going to be tough. We may have to put some elevator heels on or something. What are you going to do? They ain't going to grow 2 inches before Saturday.
Couple more?
Alice, I'm grading the video. Several players or anybody played real well against Alabama on defense?
Nothing really outstanding jumps out. I thought we had great effort the whole night. We had some missed assignments on a lot of their formation movements. It cost us some in the running game as far as fits. I didn't think anybody was outstanding. Chris obviously named SEC Player of the Year for the special teams accomplishments, and some other things too. But nobody that was really outstanding. They just had a lot of guys really step up and play tough and play gutsy.
Chris, you talk about those things that you got to be able to do good championship defense. Yet somehow or other, you guys have managed to win 11 games by hook or crook. Just talk about that and how that's happened with the things you're talking about on defense.
Well, the bottom line is we've gotten some takeaways at some critical times. We've made some really key 4th down stops. We've been good in the red zone, and we've been good on 3rd down for the most part. And that's why we've kept people off the board to some degree. The other contributing factor is that we run the ball well and we got a good kicking game. And those are things that make it very difficult for an opposing offense to get points when you got constantly losing 10 to 12 yards when you swap punts and you can't get the ball back on time. And really the other night, it's probably because Alabama was really good, but we had more 5 and 6 and 4 and 8-yard runs, instead of breaking the 40-yarder for a 2-play drive. And it really does. It starts to have an effect when the other team can't get the ball back. It diminishes the number of plays they have and the number of things they can set up and the number of things they can do to work to get you set up. So it just all works hand in hand. But, we've really given up way too much yardage to think that we played extremely well this year. But we have played extremely well in some key situations.
Chris Davis obviously had an amazing play to win the game, but what did you notice from him on that very last drive? He had the last hit there to get him out of bounds.
He played well. He did a good job. I'm sure he's a little bit tired, but he went in and did a good job.
Talk about
We gotta go.